Hi guys, welcome to week 6. This video is an overview of the work that will be happening in week 6. There are 2 discussions this week, and you also have your second 2-page reading response due this week. So let's get started. I'm on our home page, which will also have this video by the time you see it again. But what's happening this week is we are testing our analysis skills with a very challenging and dynamic text called Civil Disobedience by Henry David Thoreau. We'll be starting this reading in class together. We'll back up in the packet that I gave you, the justice packet, and we'll read a little bit about rhetoric and some of the philosophers behind the idea of what justice is, and then we'll be looking at a map or a web of all these great thinkers. And one of those thinkers will be Henry David Thoreau. The other 2 thinkers that we'll be looking at are Martin Luther King Jr. with his letter from Birmingham jail, and then Martha C. Nussbaum's Human Capabilities. And so we'll start with this reading again in class. But for now, on the discussion board, I just want to walk you through the 2 discussions and the reading response that will be due by next week before you make it to class again. So we'll start with Civil Disobedience. Now this is in your packet. It's the first reading after the introduction to the chapter that I printed for you. And what it is a really dense reading about the role of government in our lives. And so I found the actual reading of his piece. It's an hour and 20 minutes long if you prefer to listen to it as you're annotating. But please take the time to listen to the entire piece or to read the entire piece. Again, it's dense and complicated. But what we're doing this week is we're challenging our ability to analyze the rhetoric of a great thinker. And Thoreau is a wonderful subject for us to look deeply at how an argument is crafted and the kind of moves that a writer makes when they are formulating an argument. So again, if you're interested in listening to it, the video is here. But what you're going to do for this discussion, after listening to Thoreau's piece or reading it and annotating it really good, writing on it, highlighting important information, circling vocabulary words and looking them up. And what you're going to do is you're going to open your journal and free write in response to his piece for 10 minutes. And again, you're doing the writing practice, so you're going to keep your hand moving and work through ideas that you may be confused about, or if there might be a line that you find interesting, but you're basically just going to write in your journal for 10 minutes. And remember, the journals are worth 100 points at the end of the semester, so you want to make sure that you're dedicating yourself to the craft of journaling and doing the writing practice that it takes to become a great writer. Because you get the practice and then you get the points as well. After you're done with your free write, you're going to look through his piece and you're going to find a golden line or a quote of his that stands out to you. And then you're going to post to the discussion board telling us the line that you picked and why you picked it, how it stirs you, and what you think about it. You're going to push your thinking, and I'll revise this right now to be a little bit more clear. But you're going to push your thinking by looking specifically at his rhetoric. And then I want you to apply the triangle to your quote. Does it represent ethos, pathos, logos, or a combination of those? And then you're going to explain. Okay. And then make sure that you read over other students' posts and then respond to one student in a thoughtful paragraph. So engaging in that kind of conversation online to kind of flesh out some of your ideas. Remember that you have a 2-page reading response due as well. So you've already completed one with Natalie Goldberg's Wild Mind, and now you're going to do a 2-page reading response for Thoreau. So again, you can look back over the prompt. It's in your syllabus packet, and it goes over what it is I'm asking for. For those of you that need a reminder, I'm just going to open up that document, and I'm going to scroll down here to the 2-page reading response. So remember, you're questioning ideas that you encounter, you're applying the rhetorical triangle, you're looking at the rhetorical effectiveness of Thoreau's piece. What is his tone? What is his argument? How does he support it? Do you agree with what he's saying? Is he convincing you of his argument? If so, why? If not, why not? So be real specific with that. So again, it's not an essay, it's a 2-page reading response. the more thoughtful it is, the easier it's going to be for you to do your essay number 2, which is a rhetorical analysis of one of these pieces of your choice. So again, a lot of the work we're doing now is just preparing us for what's going to happen in the future with essay number 2. So to go back to the home page, that's the first discussion. The second discussion is we're just continuing to engage with the theory of they say, I say, and we're moving into the introduction, which is titled Entering the Conversation. So there's a really great video here. I think it might be 12 minutes, and it's an overview of this chapter. It kind of explains the framework of they say, I say. And so remember, they say is outside voices, whatever the argument is outside, and then I say is you jumping into that conversation with something to say. So before you can join a conversation on something, you have to listen and kind of hear the different viewpoints that are being offered, and then you jump in with your own fresh new idea to kind of develop the conversation along. So that's the framework for they say, I say. For this discussion, you're reading the chapter, you're annotating it, you're making a cluster of the information in your journal. So remember, a cluster is a mind map, like we've done in class before. If you're not sure, you can click here on the link, just so you can get a visual of it. So for you, the inside would be they say, I say, entering the conversation chapter, and then from there you'd branch off ideas that stuck out to you that you found interesting, and you would keep building on those, fleshing out the chapter, drawing on quotes, really trying to understand and conceptualize how all these ideas from chapter 1 fit together. So that's what's happening for the second discussion. When you hop on the discussion board, you're going to share your thoughts on the introduction by pointing to the most significant line or idea that you found in this section. And then you want to make sure that you format it in MLA. And then you're going to tell us why you found it relevant. And your post must be at least 1 paragraph. And make sure that you edit your post and respond to someone else. So fairly simple week regarding that. I'm just going to go back to the home page quickly and remind you that the 2-page reading response will also be due, and so I would encourage you to, spend a good amount of time going over Thoreau's piece, and then do the discussion on Thoreau before you actually do the 2-page reading response, because much of the discussion that you post you can include in your reading response. It's okay if you kind of double dip there, because with the reading response you're going to keep on developing it, whereas with the discussion you're just going to have kind of a kernel of an idea, a paragraph or a couple paragraphs of your idea. So again, that's what's happening for week 6. You have 2 discussions and a 2-page reading response in preparation for essay number 3. So again, I encourage you to spend a good amount of time on this homework because it will benefit you in the long run. With essay number 2, you'll already have set a strong foundation for when you go back in to formally analyze Thoreau's piece, if that's the piece that you choose to analyze for essay number 2. Have a great week 6, and be sure to post any questions, comments, or concerns in the first discussion forum, the clarity forum, so we can hash them out together.